What is going on, everybody? It is Jekime, and today I am going over every single vehicle in the tuner subclass. Now, before I get started, I just want to say if you agree, disagree, let me know in the likes and comments and whatever down below, and subscribe if you want more. That's all I have to say. Let's just get started. Up first, we have the Fister Comet S2, I believe it's called, and this car, it's quite disappointing. I can't even lie. I really hate the handling and the acceleration and the top speed. The only decent thing about this car was the customization, but the customization doesn't really match. It doesn't really correlate. Like, look at the spoiler on this car right now. It does not look like something a Porsche should have, in my opinion, personally. And I don't know. This car didn't have the best ideas. It wasn't amazing, but hey, we have it. You can buy it if you want, if you think it looks cool for some reason, but no. In any case, let's move on to number 16. That's all I have to say for this piece of shit. Next up at number 16, we have the Warner HKR. Now, the only reason that this car is above the Comet S2 is because I feel like this car was actually meant to be like a slower kind of drift able car. Because if you take a look at the handling, it is terrible, absolutely terrible, but it kind of seems like you're supposed to be drifting with this car, and that's why the handling, or the traction should I say, is so terrible. And I have to say, I do kind of like it, like the way it drifts and power slides and whatever. As you can see, I'm doing a bunch of figure eights and whatever. But in any case, I don't think it's worth any money. I think maybe like 200,000 or something. Like it's quite trash. I can't even lie to you. I wouldn't recommend this car at all. But if you like the way it looks, go for it. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to give you some info. But in any case, that's all I really have to say for this one too. Let's move on to number 15. Next up at number 15, we have the Futo GTX. Now, anybody who's a fan of this car, be prepared, because I'm about to drop some serious facts on you. The Futo GTX does not perform any better than the Futo from 2013. Now, first of all, these are supposed to be drift cars from my understanding, and if anything, the Futo from 2013 drifts way fucking better than the Futo GTX. Like, this car, it doesn't do what it's supposed to, therefore it's so high on the list. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. That's my reasoning. There's just nothing that I really like about it. Plus the customization too, it's all the way back from 2013. This livery, I have the exact same one on the 2013 Futo. Granted, I never customized the Futo before, the regular one, before I tried customizing this one as well. So I don't actually know if they added more customization to the Futo, like the original one. But still, like, it's the same car, just get the cheap one. You can get one for free. Why would you spend $1.9 million on this piece of shit? Anyway, that's all. I mean, if you like it, go ahead. I don't want to hate. Anyway, next car. Up next at number 14, we have the Ubermacht Cypher. Now, my deal with this car is that the customization is good, but the actual performance of the Ubermacht Cypher is absolute horrendous. Like, it's terrible. I don't like it at all. It really sucks. Like, the handling's good, don't get me wrong, but acceleration, top speed, it can't shine at all. This is probably the worst car from the subclass for racing, and that's why I don't recommend it at all. But the only reason it's above the last three is because of the looks, obviously. It does look kind of nice, you have to admit. But in any case, that's all I really have to say for the Ubermacht Cypher. It's a good car for car meets and customization, but not so good when it comes to actually performing. That's why it's so high. Anyway, next car. Next up at number 13, we have the Dinka RT3000. Now, this car is okay with customization. I just personally couldn't figure out what to do with it. I'm okay with the customization or the kit I have it with now, but I'm probably going to change it again in the future. And then on top of the customization, which is kind of weird unless you can find something that suits you. Anyway, on top of the customization, the handling is horrendous. I believe that this is meant to be a drift car, so like kind of makes sense. It's supposed to do a lot of donuts and whatnot, but like, come on, I'm trying to get a grip on the ground, not trying to float around like a damn idiot. Anyway, the acceleration is okay. Top speed and handling though, they kind of lack, and that's why I wouldn't recommend this car. If you feel like you like it, go for it. I'm not here to judge once again, but yeah, I just don't recommend it from the bottom of my heart or anything. I think it's not a great car, but it looks kind of good. you can get it if you want. Anyway, next car. So next up at number 12, this is the last car I'm going to be hating on, by the way, is the ZR350. Now, the only reason I don't really like this car is the customization. The handling, acceleration, top speed, they're all okay. But the customization, the one livery that I wanted for this car is locked behind LS car meet level 120 something, and I'm not prepared to do so much work just to get a livery for my car. That doesn't even look that great in my opinion. So that's why I think this car isn't that great. Anything else about it is like, it's fine, it's an okay car, so like go ahead and try it for yourself. I don't have anything against it other than the looks, but if you can get over the looks, if you like the way it looks almost, then yeah, go for it. I think it's a decent car otherwise. That's it for number 12. Let's move on to number 11. Now these cars I actually like. Next up at number 11, we have the Obey Tailgater S. Now this car I believe is very average when it comes to performance, but the customization and the fact that it can fit 4 doors puts it above the rest in my opinion. It's pretty great. I would definitely recommend it. I don't know if I would save up for it per se, but if you do have spare money, definitely get it. In any case, that's all I really have to say for this car. It's average. There's nothing much else to say about it. And yeah, you should probably get it if you have extra money. Anyway, let's move on to number 10. Next up at number 10, we have the Fister Growler. Now the thing with this car is I believe that it is a perfect mix between the Fister Comet and the Fister Comet S2. And that's what makes this car so amazing. It has the best parts of customization from both cars, and it also has the best liveries from both cars, and it just looks quite fancy. It looks really high-end. I don't have anything bad to say about this car really. The only reason it's this high or low on the list or whatever, its handling is not as great as it could be, but then again it's a Porsche, so you can't really expect anything different. Anyway, let's move on to number 9. That's it for number 10. Next up at number 9, we have the Remus. Now, I tried to put this car kind of in the middle because I only recently discovered it, and I really, really like it. The performance of the car is not anything special, I have to say, but when it comes to things like handling, specifically, or just the customization, I believe that's where this car shines. Obviously, the handling is so good because the car is not very fast, but the customization, man, it looks amazing. I copied this car off of the one from the setup in one of the tuner's contract missions, and I think it looks quite amazing. I don't remember if it looks exactly the same or not, but I really like this car. Just for the customization, it's this high on the list. I do recommend it. Even if you don't have spare money, I say save up for this bad boy just to take it to car meets and flex it. But in any case, that's all I really have to say for this one. It's a good looking one in my opinion, but that's all there is to it really. And good handling, don't forget that. In any case, let's move on to number 8. Next up at number 8, we have the Jester RR. Now, I only really have one true issue with this car, because the handling, great. Acceleration, great. Top speed, guess. You're right, it's great. Anyway, the one problem with this car is the fucking front. The front bumper, or like the front of the car, it's so ugly. I don't know why anybody would actually want to have this car. It's based off a Supra, right? I can't think of a single Supra with a front like that. In any case, if you can get over the front, then this is a good car to have. If you consistently are looking at the front like I am, then I don't really recommend this car because the front is not that great. Like, I've gotten over it personally because I've had this car for a while now. I've gotten over it, but I still don't think that you should get it if you don't really like the front, because it took me a while to get over it. In any case, that's all I really have to say for number 8. Let's move on to number 7. Next up at number 7, we have the Sultan RS Classic. Now, this is very similar to the Remus in that I only discovered it recently, and I really, really like it for the looks. But this car also has top tier handling, way better than the Remus, way better than the Jester, way better than any other car on this list so far, and possibly better than the cars to come. This car isn't as fast as the other ones, but the handling, since the car is so low to the ground, the wheels are kind of slanted, you can see it on the side there, the handling just, it glides through every turn perfectly. Every single time you take a left, take a right, it follows through perfectly. There's not a single problem with this car. I think it looks great, handles great, drives okay. So in reality, I don't really have anything good or bad to say about it. It's just, it's a medium car. It's not something you should get. It's not something you shouldn't get. You know what I mean? I hope you do. Anyway, let's move on to the next few cars. Next up at number 6, we have the Dominator GTT. Now this car has 2 pros and 1 con in my opinion. The 2 pros are that it's amazingly fast in a straight line and it looks fucking mint, so to say. It's so clean. I really like these older but not too old looking American muscle cars. Personally, I just think it looks really good. But the con of this car, as with a lot of other muscle cars, is that the handling is kind of lacking. It does not really do its job when it comes to a turn. But that's okay, because it's a muscle car and we understand it as a GTA community. In any case, let's move on to the next car, number 5. Up next at number 5, we have the Karen Previon, or Previon, or however you want to say it. Anyway, this car is at the number 5 spot because it is still the fastest coupe in the entire game. And I know what you're about to say. Oh wait, there's a Sentinel XS with a HSW mod, isn't that faster? No, it's not. And let me tell you how I know this. I was playing a land race not too long ago with my Sentinel XS HSW, and once me and this random person got onto a straightaway, he was in a stock Previon, and at this straightaway, this person beamed right fucking past me, man. That guy dusted me in the Previon, and it was stock. It was one of those stock ones that you can use just because you joined the race, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. I was mind blown. I was like, yo, HSW doesn't do shit for the Sentinel XS, and it doesn't. It really doesn't. That car is so slow, man. It doesn't even go above 120. It stays at like 105, the Sentinel XS, not the Previon. The Previon goes at like 125. That's a whole 20-mile difference, man. I think that overall, if you're gonna get a coupe, or sorry, a sedan, whatever this car is a part of, if you're gonna get one of those for racing, get the fucking Previon. Do not get the Sentinel XS HSW. I'm gonna be making an HSW video later this week, and you'll see what I mean. It's gonna be a spoiler alert. It's gonna be at the fucking bottom. Anyway, let's get on to the next car. Next up at number 4, we have the Dominator ASP. Now, this Dominator, I believe, is the best muscle car from the tuners subclass. Now, hear me out. The only reason it's the best muscle car is because, first of all, the Dominator GTT got nerfed and it has terrible handling now and slightly worse top speed. But the Dominator ASP, this car, did not get nerfed. It still has amazing handling, and it still has the same top speed, which is exactly the same as the Dominator GTT, and that's why it's better than the Dominator GTT. I'm sure that the GTT could put up a fight against the ASP in a straightaway, but when it comes to an actual circuit race, I'm sure the ASP would take it over every single time. And that's why I recommend the Dominator ASP over the GTT. Anyway, that's all I have to say for the Dominators. Let's move on to the top 3. Up first from the top 3 at number 3, we have the Anis Euros. Now I know what you might be thinking. Anis Euros? That car is terrible. That car sucks. Why would you ever put that on a racing list? Hear me out. I think that this car has the best handling from the top 3 that I'm about to mention, and probably also the lowest top speed. But that correlates. I think it makes sense. On top of that, I think the customization for this car is on point. I know some other people may not agree about the looks, but I honestly like it. I think it's a pretty cool looking car and I can get behind it. I don't know. A lot of people hate on this car and I don't know why. It's a nice car to drive. I get it. It's not fast. It's not like super duper good or anything, but neither is any other car from the Tuners DLC. Like, come on, let's be realistic. Anyway, that's all I really have to say for the number 3. Let's move on to number 2. At number 2, we have the Calico GTF. Now, I know you might be thinking that, hey, the Calico is the fastest car in a straight line from the entire Tuners DLC. Why is it not in first? I'll give you 2 reasons. Number 1, and this is probably the most common one with the Calico, it can't turn. I mean, sure, you can learn to try to turn with it, but when you first get in this car, your initial reaction is that, holy shit, this car does not turn at all. Number 2 reason, the customization, the livery options specifically, I was not impressed with any of them. The model that I have in my car right now, it kind of looks ugly. I copied it from someone else because this is about as good as the Calico can really get, in my opinion. And I'm just not too sure that I can love this car. It's good in a straight line, but that's all it's good for, and that's why it's so high on the list, is because it's the best in a straight line, unfortunately. Anyway, I believe through the process of elimination, you all know what the number one car is, so let's move on to it. And finally, at the number one spot, I think you all saw this coming, is the Emperor Vectre. Now, this car is just a good car all around, and that's why it has to be at the number one spot. Customization on point. Handling on point. Acceleration and top speed, guess what? It's on point. It's all so good. This car is the best for the street races. For the pursuit races, however, is the Calico. I forgot to mention that earlier. In any case, that's all you guys really need to know about the tuners cars. That was all 17 of them. And that's all I had for today's video. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, whatever. If you didn't, dislike, let me know what I did wrong in the comments. And I hope you guys have a good day. See y'all.